How does Ferrari win the Constructors' Championship in 2024? Now, if you've been following along at least a little bit, you know it's a tight race. Max Verstappen has just won. Ferrari and McLaren are in this very tight battle, 24 points separate them. That means if Ferrari gets first and the other three drivers of the teams just DNF, Ferrari's winning. That's how close they are. So I wanted to take a look and see statistically how are they going to win. And I think the answer is more surprising than people think. First off, there is only a 24-point deficit. Just said that. The most you can score in a weekend is 44. That means there's 88 points maximum up to grab in these next two races. It is going to be cutthroat. Now, there's two problems with that. McLaren is demoralized because Lando Norris just lost the driver championship. Now, because he lost the driver championship, he's not in the right headspace. He doesn't have an alternative goal to shoot for, right? Everyone always says it's better to chase than be chased. And the reason for that is when Lando was chasing the drivers championship, every weekend it was just a plus, right? Just you got more points on him. You got more points on him. Now that it's over, the only thing that he has left is he's winning the Constructors. However, there's no one to beat now. It's just how many points can you score? And the last two races, Brazil and Las Vegas, it felt like Lando just wasn't doing good. He was trying to get as many points as he can. Just he wasn't performing. He wasn't doing good. I don't know if you can say McLaren isn't doing good because Piastri is not doing stellar either. So something's going on in McLaren. And so that's why I put McLaren as a whole is demoralized right now because everyone talked about the chance of Lando winning. There's that mess up with Piastri and Lando early on about you're not giving Lando a fair chance at Drivers' Championship and just all the mistakes, all of what's going on. I don't think McLaren has a good mindset going in to defending their Constructor Championship because how are you going to rally the troops when you just lost something, right? You have to have a good result. So it's going to be up to very key individuals in that paddock, box, garage, whatever you want to call it, to get something going. Now, Ferrari isn't looking so good either. Leclerc is mad. Leclerc is pissed. Leclerc is their golden boy. They are all in on him. They're getting rid of Carlos Sainz. However, events in Vegas really showed that Ferrari isn't good tactically right now. And they haven't been. If you watch Drive to Survive, that is very prevalent. Now, development, they might be getting better. However, Carlos Sainz is such a solid driver that it's hard to tell him no. He's constantly pulled something out of a hat for Ferrari and gotten better results than they were expecting. This was not one of those weekends. Clearly, Ferrari was just not on the same page. They weren't very decisive. They weren't very stern enough to control their race and make sure that they're putting both their drivers in the best possible position. Carlos was trying to go out there, lost his tires, couldn't get the right pit stops. Leclerc is just conceding, just trying to make sure that they can do everything they can to get into the drivers' try and get the Constructor Championship trophy. But, oh my goodness, he's mad because he did everything and they still wind up with not the best result they could have. Maybe they don't think they could have won, but there's going to be a huge debate on that on the Ferrari side, what they could have changed to get them there. Russell just had it the whole time, and it seemed like Ferrari was just fighting themselves. So can they fix it up in the next 2 weekends to get it done? Now, I said I want to look at it statistically because what situation would their dreams be over? Okay, so the first thing I'll show you is this graph. So this is every possibility in the second to last race that they can have going to the last race. So here's every single possible point deficit they have to McLaren. Notice that there's not even a single possibility where they'll have more than 20 points. There's negative 24 points, 44. So clearly, this is the best possible situation. Now, if we come down here, this is what I like to call the dead zone. If they ended up under negative 40 points, they're done, right? Obviously, if you get 44, it's a tie. If it's 45, it's done. So here's a good visual. Here's everything above negative 40 is a very good possibility for them. So with that being said, there's only 213 possibilities where it is just over before the last race. So think of it like Max Verstappen in Las Vegas. There's only 213 chances that McLaren wins the Constructors before the last race. And those are simply, there's 200 possibilities, but they can be summed up very cleanly. McLaren gets very high points. I'm talking one person gets first in some variation of points, and then Ferrari is struggling to get anything. That's the first possibility, right? This is no historical lookout. This is purely just mathematically, what are the possibilities? So here's what they are. McLaren needs a lot of points. Ferrari needs to get very little points. Complicated, I know. And these are point turnouts, possibility of the points. So, for example, I counted 0-0 for both drivers as a single possibility. So, all those other places, there's more of that. However, they've been doing good in points. I felt like it was fair enough to just include one variation of them getting 0. We don't need to have 20 variations of them getting 0, right? It's whatever. So, what is the biggest thing? I misspelled chances, of course. Freaking ridiculous. What is the biggest thing for Ferrari going to this race? Obviously, they have to get points. However, they need to make up that deficit to a point where they are giving them the best possible chance going to that last race. So the biggest thing they need to think about is not to win the next race. If they're I wish it was at Las Vegas, but if they're just betting everything on black and just hoping for the best, they are not going to do well. They need to have a race that they just had at Las Vegas. If they have 3rd and 4th and McLaren's 6th and 7th, even lower than that, that's a very ideal outcome. Now, you want to push to get 2nd, to get 1st, to get those big point swings. However, realistically, you want to spend as much as you can to get high in qualifying and just exactly the same setup you had in Las Vegas. You just have one guy defend and the other guy's up ahead. Take care of your tires, do smart things on your pit stops, and just kill them on the last 10 laps. I think that's the best scenario for Ferrari to actually win. Now, you almost have 1,900 possibilities where you will be still in it. There's still a possibility, but how many of those include them winning is fairly high. So for a really good possibility, they need to just get up top 5 and make sure McLaren's below them. That's what they really need to do. It's going to get spicy. It's going to be cutthroat because Ferrari hasn't won, I think, in 15 years or more. So it's going to be crazy. If you're not watching F1 yet, I really recommend watching the highlights of qualifying, of practice. It's going to tell the whole story. And if you're not watching Drive to Survive, you better get ready because this is going to be the craziest season of Drive to Survive, because this has been probably the craziest season of the whole series runtime of Drive to Survive. This is going to be really epic. There's going to be so much going into it, and I can't wait to hear what the drivers have to say. Until then, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Peace.